They say the first 90 years are the hardest, but what if the best part of your story is still being written? If you're watching this, there's a good chance you've already defied a few odds. You've made it through storms others couldn't. You've grown wise, maybe even a little tired, but not done, not by a long shot. And today, we're looking at 7 quiet signs, subtle but powerful clues backed by science that suggest you might just live well past 90. Some of these may surprise you. Let's begin with a question. Have you ever found yourself laughing, truly laughing, at something small? A grandchild's joke, a bird tapping at the window, a memory that bubbles up from nowhere? According to researchers at Norway's Hunt study, a strong sense of humor, especially in women, is associated with a 73% lower risk of death from heart disease. Not kale, not supplements, laughter, a lightness that bubbles up from deep knowing that life is absurd and beautiful and worth smiling through. If that still lives in you, that's one sign. It means part of you has chosen joy again and again, even when you didn't have to. Because humor isn't just about jokes, it's about perspective. It's how we soften the sharp edges of life, how we stay light in a world that can be heavy. Now, another sign. You walk with purpose. Not fast necessarily, not without pain, but with intention. A Harvard study found that older adults who walked with a brisk pace, even just 2.6 miles per hour, were more likely to live longer, even if they didn't exercise otherwise. Walking speed, it turns out, isn't just about mobility. It's a marker of how the body and brain are aging together. And it makes sense, doesn't it? You've probably seen it in others. That slow, determined gait in someone who still has somewhere to be, even if it's just the garden or the living room or the corner shop. It's not about running marathons. It's about momentum, a reason to move forward, a quiet insistence on showing up. And that alone can keep you here longer than most pills ever will. Now, here's a trait that might surprise you. You're curious. You still wonder. You still ask. You notice the way sunlight filters through the trees or how someone's voice cracks when they talk about something they love. You haven't stopped wanting to know. And that, according to research, is a secret weapon for longevity. A study in the Journal of Aging and Health found that curiosity was linked with increased life expectancy. Why? Because people who stay curious stay cognitively engaged. They build what's called cognitive reserve, a buffer against diseases like dementia. You don't need to solve equations or master new languages. Even wondering about a bird's call or why your soup didn't taste quite right this time, that's enough. It's not about what you know. It's about being open. It's the difference between aging and drying out. Here's another sign that can't be measured on a chart. You've known love and held on to connection. Whether it's your partner of 50 years, a neighbor who always waves, or a daughter who texts you bad jokes, that connection keeps you alive in more ways than one. The Harvard study of adult development, one of the longest studies of human life ever conducted, found that strong relationships are the best predictor of long, healthy, happy lives. Not cholesterol, not income, connection. We are not meant to do this alone. And the people who live the longest, they don't. They make the call. They write the letter. They show up. Even if their hands shake, even if the world has changed, they choose to belong again and again. And speaking of belonging, here's something often overlooked. People who live past 90 tend to embrace aging. That doesn't mean they like every ache or wrinkle, but they don't fight the tide. They adapt. They shift their expectations. They say, this is who I am now, and get on with the day. There's a deep power in that kind of surrender. Not giving up, giving in to a deeper rhythm. Researchers at UC Irvine's 90-plus study found that participants who accepted aging and adjusted their routines were more likely to maintain independence and emotional well-being. Think of a river. It doesn't try to flow backward. It finds a new path around the rocks. That's what you're doing when you say, I'll rest now. I'll take my time. I'll let someone else carry the groceries. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Here's another sign, though you might not recognize it in yourself. You are resilient. Not in a loud movie scene way, in the quiet way, the way that comes after grief, after disappointment, after being told, this is just how it is now. And still, you rise. Maybe slowly, maybe with tears, but you do. That kind of resilience isn't just emotional, it's biological. Studies show that psychological resilience is linked to lower inflammation, healthy healthier immune responses, and even longer telomeres, the protective ends of your DNA strands that tend to shorten with age. So every time you faced a hard season and kept going, you were, in some small way, lengthening your life. You were teaching your body, we are not done yet. And here's a beautiful, surprising detail from blue zones around the world, places where people regularly live past 100. The secret? They feel useful. In Sardinia, in Okinawa, in Costa Rica, older adults aren't sidelined. They teach, they cook, they sweep the doorstep, they pass on wisdom, not because they're trying to be productive, but because being needed is part of being alive. And if you have someone, anyone, who relies on your presence, your wisdom, your stories, then you already have that thread pulling you forward. Purpose doesn't have to be a grand mission. Sometimes it's just a cat that waits for you to fill the bowl, or a neighbor who expects your wave, or a garden that needs your hands in the soil. That's reason enough. And finally, perhaps the most important sign of all, you are still hopeful. Not in the loud, sparkly bumper sticker way, but in that deep, grounded way that says, I still want to see what tomorrow brings. Hope is not a mood. It's not a personality trait. It's a practice. It's getting up even when your knees ache. It's asking, what's for dinner, even when you've lost your appetite. It's believing that somewhere in this day, this ordinary, aging, miraculous day, there will be something worth noticing. And that, more than anything else, keeps you alive. Hope keeps the heart beating in rhythm with the future. And yours is steady. So let's take a moment to gather this together. You laugh easily. You walk with purpose. You're curious. You stay connected. You adapt with grace. You're resilient. You feel useful. You hold on to hope. Not every day, not perfectly, but often enough that your body, your heart, your spirit know. They know you're not finished. They know there's more life to live. And if some of these signs are already true in you, then you may be living your way toward 90 and beyond. You don't need a perfect diet. You don't need to chase youth. You just need to keep tending the fire, because longevity isn't about more years. It's about more aliveness in each one. You can do this, and it matters, not just for you, but for everyone who will be touched by the years you've yet to live. You're not just extending time, you're deepening it. And that may be the most beautiful part of all.